Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Cultural practices. This refers to all the essential aspects of general farm management done in crop production, from the choice of site to the post-harvest farm level processing. They include the pre-planting operations, planting operations, post-planting operations, harvesting, post-harvest operations. Pre-planting operations. Pre-planting operations are the farming activities carried out before planting is done. They include the selection of site, clearing and burning, stumping, plotting, tilling, seed selection, and nursery practices. In the selection of site, the site selected should suit the purpose of production in terms of size, fertility of the soil, availability of water, topography, accessibility to road and market, etc. In clearing, a piece of land is usually recovered from bush by clearing. Small areas of bush are usually slashed down using machetes, while bigger trees are either pruned or cut down with a cutlass or an axe, yet some are left to provide shade. Burning. In the tropics, the cut down vegetation is usually disposed by burning. The ash produced is rich in mineral plant food, and it increases the alkalinity of the soil and reduces nitrogen content of the soil. Unfortunately, the ash is easily washed away by rain and so is lost. Burning can sometimes be used to get rid of pests in cases of severe infestation. Stumping. Stumping involves uprooting the bases of shrubs and trees. It can be done manually using a cutlass, the mattock, axe, or by a bulldozer. Plotting. A new farm is usually laid out in rectangular plots using the 3-4-5 method. A ranging pole and a measuring tape are the essential tools for plotting. Tilling. A small farm is usually cultivated by tilling, using hoe to break and loosen the soil to correct depth. This enables air and water to reach the roots and enables the roots to push their way into the soil and absorb water and mineral salts. Tilling can be done mechanically using a tractor-driven mold board or disc plow, harrow, and the ridger. Seed selection. In seed selections, seeds are poured into a container of water, and those seeds that float on top should be discarded, while those that stay at the bottom should be planted, since they are the well-formed variable seeds. Nursery and nursery practices. In nursery practice, small seeds and fragile planting materials need special care in a nursery bed or box. This allows greater care to be given to them. Seedlings protected in this way are stronger, they grow faster and more uniformly. Where boxes are used, the soil should be 3 parts good topsoil, 2 parts compost, and 1 part fine river sand, sterilized to kill microorganisms and weeds. Planting operations. Planting operations are operations associated with the actual planting or sowing of the planting material. Some crops have planting materials that are sown directly in the field, while some have small seeds that need special care and handling. Planting operations include the seed treatment and the spacing and planting. Seed treatment is a treatment that is given to seeds before they are sown, and this treatment varies with the different crop seeds. For instance, if seed rice is being sent to another country, the seeds are given hot water treatment to kill seed-borne nematode eggs. Such seeds are soaked in warm water at 40 degrees centigrade for 10 minutes and then put into water at 60 degrees centigrade for 20 minutes while stirring. Thereafter, they are cooled in running water at room temperature. Spacing and planting. Planting distance is the spacing required between one stand of a crop and the next stand. Spacing refers to the distance between 2 plants. The distance of planting holes from one another, which varies from species to species, must be strictly controlled in order to prevent either overcrowding or too low a plant population. The distance from one plant to the next on the same row is referred to as within row spacing, and the distance between two adjacent rows is referred to as between row spacing. It is important to grow a crop at the correct spacing for that crop so as to obtain maximum yield. This way we minimize competition for nutrients and sunshine between plants. Crops which branch out extensively are sown at wider spacings than those which do not branch out extensively. Post-planting operations. Post-planting operations are those operations carried out after planting has been done. They include the thinning, supplying, mulching, manuring. We also have watering, weeding, pruning and trimming, and staking. In thinning is the removal of extra seedlings from a stand to give room for others to grow. The weakest plants should be carefully pulled up without damaging the remaining ones. It is preferably done after rains when the soil is moist. Thinning helps to maintain the correct plant density and prevents crops from competing for light, water, and nutrients. Supplying is the replacing of seeds that fail to germinate. It is the opposite of thinning. Seeds may germinate and die or fail to germinate at all because they have lost their viability. Seeds may lose their viability due to pest or disease attack, dormancy, or premature harvesting. They therefore have low germination rates. The vacant positions are filled soon after germination by supplying. Mulching is the practice of covering the soil surface with grass, crop residues, sawdust, straws, or ground corn cobs. Mulching helps to prevent growth of weeds. It helps to regulate soil temperature, it helps to conserve soil moisture, and it helps to add organic matter to the soil. Manuring or fertilizer application. Crops need adequate supply of nutrients for good yield. This is accomplished by adding organic manure and inorganic fertilizers. To be effective, the right type of fertilizer should be applied at the right time, under the right conditions, using the right methods. Fertilizer may be applied during planting or after germination and just before flowering. NPK fertilizer is mostly used. Watering as a post-planting operation. Plants need just enough water to grow. Too little water retards crop growth and yield and may cause plants to shrivel or die. So the farmer must choose crops that suit the rainfall pattern or else use irrigation water to make up. Weeding is the removal of unwanted plants in the farm. Early weeding is recommended as early weed competition is mostly hazardous to crops. Pruning and trimming. In pruning and trimming, which is another post-planting operations, perennial crops need pruning from time to time. Dead and dropping branches are usually cut off in fruit trees, while in some other crops like cocoa, pruning is done to give the tree a suitable shape for harvesting or to promote fruiting. In staking, some twinning and creeping crops are staked to raise their stem from the ground. Staking is the act of training stems and vines to climb the stake. Long sticks are used for staking such crops as yam, while telferia, cowpea and tomato are staked with short branched sticks. Harvesting is the removal and gathering of mature crops for processing and storage. The sign of maturity differ for different crops. For crops like yam, cocoyam and groundnut, maturity is signified by large-scale yellowing of leaves and drying. The purpose of production also affects the maturity stage at which the crop is to be harvested. For example, maize meant to be eaten fresh is generally harvested green at 12 weeks, while that meant for storage is harvested at 14 weeks. We have the timely harvesting and the late harvesting. Effects of timely harvesting. Timely harvesting protects crops from pest infestation in the field. It protects crops from mold and prevents deterioration. Therefore, it makes the crops store well. Effect of late harvesting. Late harvesting leads to pest infestation. It reduces storage quality, leads to spoilages, and exposes crops to thieves and predators. Post-harvest operation. Post-harvest operations are those operations carried out after harvesting has been done. They are the farm-level processing of crops into usable forms and storage. Farm-level processing of crops into usable forms is the processing or storing of crops into consumable state or storable state for future use. Some crops can be processed directly in the farm, and the activities involved vary from crop to crop. For cereals and legumes, the process involves drying, threshing, and winnowing, while for root and tuber crops, it varies from only cleaning, for example as in cocoyam, to grinding and frying as in cassava, that is gari. Storage. Storage materials are used for storing agricultural produce until they are sold or used for next season's operation. They include silos, cribs, compost pits, fences, etc.